Hi everyone, my name is Rochelle. I am a third year archaeology student at the University of Malta, and I'm here to talk about my experience excavating at the Silg. I was really excited to be a part of this project because it was my first time excavating for a whole season, which is 4 weeks. I really learned a lot, both practical skills and how to apply archaeology outside of the classroom. I made a lot of friends, both foreign and local. One exchange student, she was in my area. We excavated together for the whole 4 weeks, and we're still good friends today. It wasn't without its challenges. So when you're out there in the field and it's a pretty tough day, you need someone. You need to have good friends to joke around with and sometimes even sing with if you're having enough of a breakdown. It can get really hot, especially in the summer. But that's part of the experience. I think that in the end, hard work makes it even more satisfying in the end. You don't always find these cool things that you see in the movies either. We spent a lot of time actually excavating a rubbish pit, so ancient Twisties packets and Kit Kat packets. But this was, I mean, we joked around that this was the archaeology of the future, what future archaeologists will have to deal with. We did find some coins and pottery, and in the end, we even found the floor there of the Roman temple. So we were really happy about that. We were really excited, but unfortunately, it came at the very end of our excavation, so we had to kind of stop there. But anyway, it was such a super interesting experience and such a fun time, and it's a really amazing site with so much history. I can't wait to excavate there again, and I hope it inspires younger students to take up archaeology and join us in the field. Thank you.
When discussing when asked about my experience with Silg, um, pretty good overall. The worst part of going to Silg was probably the commute there. To actually get there was a pain, especially at 7 in the morning of getting the bus and on, it's pain, especially when you live on the other side of the island. All in all, it was good. Um, and it was it wasn't. It's not what you expect. I mean, when you're doing the digging, it's not what you expect. I mean, um, we were given a specific area, which used to be a spoil heap. Basically, they'd put stuff that they weren't concerned about, a lot of soil there, whatever. Um, when they were digging and everything. So we were expecting not to find anything. And my area in particular was like, yeah, you're just gonna be digging down, and you're not just gonna you're probably not going to find anything. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I'm fine with that. And I keep on digging, and I hit something. I'm like, what is this? Like stone or it's the floor? I'm like, it's the floor. What do I do? I look at my supervisor. He's like, the floor. I didn't expect that. Like we look to the lecture, and they're like, all right, okay, not as boring as we thought it was going to be, Mala. Tie up, good, good, good. So we see. And that's the fun part about. It's one of the fun parts of archaeology. You have an idea of what you're going to get, but when you get surprised, it's the best kind of surprise half the time. Yeah, sometimes it's not a good surprise. Like this is one of those good surprises. When you get a good surprise, it's amazing, honestly. Hush, you're not expecting it, and then bah, you get something like that. And like considering the area before, like we were when we came to digging, the amount of the trash that we found, this was amazing, man. Like we found a lot of metal pipes as in recent stuff. I like metal pipes, like a couple of car parts. Like you were like, oh, we can make a car, and it was a fun thing like that. We like, oh, I don't know, the Benna milk cartons. We found old Benna milk cartons. Can you imagine the disgrace? But we kept on digging, and like after all the more modern stuff, then we get to the good stuff there. Um, Till fact, when I came to the person, one of the people in my area, they found a lot of good pottery and a lot of good stuff like that. And we were like, we're finding a lot of stuff. We're doing great. And that's the fun part of archaeology for me, because when when you do the digging, it's always like this anticipation. Like you expect what you expect. If you don't, and it gets to you. It gets to you sort of, and like in a good way, kind of. Like, and it's a big. The best way I can describe it is it's like a puzzle. Like all the pieces are there. Obviously, they're buried underneath you, and you have to dig to get them out. Otherwise, it's the forming of the puzzle, and to end up getting our pieces and then connecting them to the other groups and go like, what do you find in your area? What do you find? I found this. Okay, cool, cool. Like it's a good experience, and the experience is nice when it comes to then like the camaraderie. So you get used to people around you, and uh, the jokes or whatever that end up being made are just amazing sometimes, and the experience itself it's good. Like when I came to Tasil, my experience there was very good, honestly. Like I was expecting it to be good, but I wasn't expecting it to be as fun as it was, so like doing what we did was always a fun time, and honestly, the group I was with, so I love they know this, they know who they are, um, and it's a fun time, honestly, and it's if if you get a chance to end up going an excavation and you do it. I mean, it's a lot of hard work. At the end of the day, honestly, it's fun and it's worth it. Because sometimes you go in with low expectations and you find the floor. Surprise.
Hi everyone, my name is Nico, and I'm going to talk to you briefly about my own experience at the Silg area. My experience was a bit different from that of other students in the sense that I was one of the 5 area supervisors, which means that I was in charge of a team of students, and together we needed to achieve our goals and make sure that our aims are achieved. Being a supervisor means more responsibility, but it also means that you would like to give a positive experience to those students who are just starting out, and you yourself would know that until you get the grasp of things, things may be difficult and not what you assume them to be. We may think of archaeology in terms of movies that we watch, like Indiana Jones, for example, and although they are fun and interesting, once you actually get into excavation, you understand and realize that there is a science and technique behind it, and that you need to make sure that these principles are being followed. In my area, it was split into 3 different sections, so the area itself was split into 3 sections, and there were a group of people working in each subsection of this area. Even though you try to do as much research as possible before the start of excavation, the doctors and professors in charge of the excavation would have done their own work and look at what other studies have been done before. You will always get surprises. So in mind, I have a particular example for that. We thought there would be nothing in one particular area because the area itself had a lot of pipes, a lot of modern items, car parts, other repairs, so a lot of modern items that people have thrown away during the time that we do not need to study or use. So we thought that there wouldn't be anything interesting in this area, but once the person got to excavate, the the more he excavated, the more interesting items he started to find. Pottery, and then he realized, and we realized after checking, that it was actually a part of a floor which extended to the entire area, and there were other examples of this mosaic floor which could be found in other parts of the excavation site. So even though you may think that an area is not interesting, or you may not find interesting artifacts at first, the work you do, first of all, is important for the actual information you need to get, but you never know what you will find. For personally, for example, I haven't found any coins while excavating, or any so-called major find, but at the same time making sure that you know that you're working on a site properly, on an area properly, and that you get your friends, because the bond that forms is very strong, learning and understanding what they are doing, and they have found themselves very interesting things. For example, in my area, even though I need to make sure that all the evidence and all the written data is being put down successfully, so I don't get that much time to write to excavate myself. A lot of interesting pottery was found, and it's something that you encourage people to do and make sure that it's an interesting experience. Finding the artifacts is obviously the highlight of the whole experience, but once that passes, it's the bond that remains. So the bond that was created from that experience with those people I was in the area with remains to this day, because we work together every day from 7 till 4. So a bond is created, a strong one, and it's that which remains, and that is what the excavation gives you. Yes, you find pipes, you find modern rubbish which you don't like and don't want, but at the end of the day, you're finding interesting information, important information, which may give an insight of what happened in the past, but at the same time, you're gaining a lot from it as well. You're gaining experience if you want to continue in that field. You're getting an experience of touching the past with your own work, but also creating and forming a bond with a group of people which remains for a very long time. So, if anyone has the opportunity to experience excavating even for a short while, I would highly recommend it, and I hope you enjoy it as well. Thank you.